So word project 3 is going to look something like this. A letterhead with some little bit of graphics for Sunset State College. It's going to be a letter to a prospective student. Instead of a numbered list, we're going to be inserting a table. Working with tables is an excellent skill to have. Another bolted list, we've done that before. And then on the second page, where we're going to be displaying a schedule, we'll be using SmartArt, and they have kind of an ugly color scheme, but we're not going to worry about color schemes. They do have a border around a paragraph instead of just a shaded paragraph, so similar to what we did before, shading a paragraph. So this shouldn't take too long. We'll start with the letterhead, and then we'll bring in our content. So this is what we're going to be producing, and let's get started from a blank page. So let's close my previous document. I'm going to start up a new one. Word is anchored to my taskbar. I'm going to start with a blank document. And then as we bring in the content, we want to make sure we have the correct the correct margins first. And let's come get our margins set up. Well, it looks like checking on our margins here. Let's see here, doing letterhead. All right, let's see here. We're doing paragraphs. The margins, looks like we're going with standard margins here. I think we're good. Okay. And now we're going to create the letterhead. I'm going to bring in a shape, and then we're going to add some graphics to it. So we're going to have a rectangle across the top that's going to become our graphic title with the title of our college up there. So first thing we're going to do is draw a rectangle up there. So to draw a rectangle, let's see, is there any shape I can draw here? No shapes here, but if I go to Insert, here we have a few shapes we can do. Lots of other things I could draw, but we're going to go to Shapes, and we're going to do a simple rectangle. It remembers recently used shapes, or I can come down here to Rectangles, and in regular shapes, or basic shapes, let's see, I guess there's not a rectangle hiding in there. Oh, here down in Flowchart, there's also a rectangle-like thing, but we're going to use the basic rectangle. And as we draw it, we get our crosshair, and we're going to draw it approximately 1/2 inch high by 5 inches wide. So I can use this ruler here to guide me in my 5 inches, and just start drawing it. And once I let go, the Shape Format tab opens up, and I can see my exact size up here in the upper right. So if I wanted exactly 1/2 inch tall, I can change this to 0.5, and I can change this to exactly 5. And if I want to center that, I can grab that and move it around to center it. And sometimes with these programs, as you hit the center, you may get a guideline show up that, hey, you're in the center right now, and have it snap to center. It doesn't do that for us right now. So we have a 1/2 inch high by 5 inch long rectangle. Default color, we're not going to worry about that color yet. And before we leave here, let's take a look at our position options we have. In the position for that shape that is selected, notice if it's not selected, the Shape tab goes away. Have it selected, the Shape Format tab shows up, and in the position I can decide how that rectangle is going to be laid out on my page. And we're going to choose Top Center with Square Text Wrapping. What that means is text will wrap around that if I start typing. Little anchor shows up showing me that this is a centered text, and I can decide my wrapping either by coming up here or right clicking here and decide what kind of wrapping I'm going to have around that. We'll see the effect of wrapping as we start putting in some text. So start a blank document, insert a shape at the top, 1/2 inch tall by 5 inches wide. Now the default, go back and select that, the default wrapping for that was text wrapping square. We're going to change that wrapping to top and bottom. Now we don't see the effect until we start typing text. So basically we don't want text to show up on the left or right side of that. If we ever do any text wrapping, we want to force the text to be either above it or below it. That's the top and bottom wrapping. We'll play around with some shapes later. Once we get some text in there, you'll see the effect of wrapping. Right now, we just make sure text can't be written to the left and right of it. Text will either have to be above it or below it. That's the top and bottom wrapping. And we're going to put some text inside of here, but let's first change the style of our shading. With that selected and with the shape format selected, I can choose my shape style up here. The little pull down shows me all my styles available. We would like to choose the slight gradient style here, the orangish gradient style. And anytime I have a shape, if I start typing, the text will appear in my shape. But first we're going to set an outline for this. Now if the outline's not wide enough, you hardly will see it. Let's choose our outline with it selected. Here is my shape built-in styles, but I can add additional characteristics by changing my shape outline to be the third from the right, a yellowish, a gold accent 4, I think is what it will say. And because it's not very visible, let's make the outline slightly wider. Let's set that to be, how about, let's see, 3 might be a little much. Let's go maybe 1.5 point, just so I can see it. Without it being larger than 1 point, you can hardly tell it's there. So let's make it 1.5 point. Just a little slight effect around. If I deselect it, you can see that little border. And let's see, are we done with that yet? Let's see what else we want to do. I think we're going to want to put some text in it eventually. Oh, before we go, we would like to add more effects. I can play with the outline in multiple ways. I can go to shape effects and look at all the effects I can apply to that. Remember how this, very much like a text box, I can apply some nice graphics to it. And they would like us to apply a glow with just a mild yellow glow around it, emphasizing the sunset feel of that. And if I do a wide glow, you can see how wide that glow could get. We're just going to do a mild glow. And if you ever wanted to mess with other glow options, you have these additional complete control over the glow. We'll go with the built-in mild gold glow. So far we've drawn a shape, given it exact size, border, and yellow glow. And now to add text to it, all I have to do is just start typing. And we're going to just start typing Sunset State College. With the shape selected, just start typing Sunset State College. You don't have to, you can go up here and add text or right click add text, or just start typing. And that text is a little small. We would like to increase the font size. I could have started by changing the font size. I'm going to drag through all the text and Control Shift greater than until that fits nicely in there. Not too big. There, it's getting a little big. Let's back off a little bit. And sadly, I can't tell my font size unless I go to the home and I see it's 22 point. And they wanted it one larger, so I'm going to hit Control Shift greater than one more time and bop it up to 24 point. Now usually, if you're going to set the font size and you want it to fit, you want to make sure to pick the font you want first. They do it in a reverse order than I would have done it. I would choose my font first because different fonts fit differently. So we're going to bold that text, and I guess we're not going to change the font style. So let's go Control B, and often bolding makes the font a little larger, and this irritates me. The G is being slightly cut off. Let me decrease the font size once and see if that G looks a little better. Yeah, the G is getting cut off if I make it 24. So I'm going to back it off to 22 because I don't like that G getting slightly cropped there. So there you have a decent letterhead started. Now it's a little plain right now, so we want to put some graphics on either side of this little bar. That's going to become a letterhead of our business letter. And we want to go get a picture of an eagle. So let's go find a picture of an eagle. If I had one from my camera, I could insert it, but let's go to Insert, Pictures, and if it were on my computer, I would go this device and select the picture, but I don't have it here. I'm going to go down to Online Pictures and see what's available to me from what Microsoft provides. And I believe Bing is our provider. So it goes and looks for pictures. Yes, it is powered by Bing. I can now search for eagle in my search bar. As soon as I hit enter, it will go out to its database of pictures. And this Creative Commons, it's worthwhile spending a little time on this. The Creative Commons means pictures that are open and public domain. If you don't choose this, there's a chance you may find a pretty good picture, but it actually may belong to someone, and your business could be in trouble if someone that owns that picture discovers you using it on your letterhead. They could come and ask money from you. So if you're doing anything for a business, choose public domain pictures. Now we have eagles here and lots of pictures of eagles. As I slide down, it'll fill in more. If I want a particular style of eagle, like I could add eagle drawing, it'll find drawn pictures of eagle. It might get me closer to what I'm looking for in my graphics. Let's see, in the book they just searched for eagle, and they eventually found a fire-like eagle. Let's see if we can find that here. I'm not seeing it yet. I did a search for eagle drawing. This was similar. Let's see if I can find the exact one in the book. If not, we'll pick one that's close. And that's something that you will find, that as you use something, you come back in a few months, there may not be the same selection of pictures. Let me try eagle. Let's try eagle icon and see if I find the one that's in the book. This is close, except theirs is more artistic. Yeah, let's see. This one shows up in the book. The one that they're using in the book I do not see yet, so I might go back, give it one more chance here. Yeah, the one in the book is not showing up. So I'm going to go back to the top and choose that one that's similar. This one right here. I'm going to choose this one, and we'll adjust the colors, and maybe we'll get it to look similar to in the book. At least this is very close to what they have in the book. I'm going to select that one and choose Insert. And it's going to be, oh, look at that. Thank you very much. Error occurred. I haven't seen that before. Let's try that again. Insert picture, online pictures, eagle drawing, or sorry, eagle icon. Double click. I'll try a different one this time. Hopefully I don't have an error with every one. Let's try. I'll go with a different one then. Eagle drawing. And let's go with, we'll go with this guy. Didn't get an error with that one. I don't know why I had an error with that other one. Now this is way too big. I want it to be as tall as my little box here. Now I could manually adjust the size by grabbing a corner, or if I know exactly how tall I want it over here or how wide, I know I want it half an inch tall. So let's just come over here and change the 3.6 to 0.5. It will automatically adjust the other proportion and give me a half inch tall eagle. I do want it to be up here next to this picture. Let's see if it'll let me drag it up there. Remember that wrapping part? It won't let me put that eagle there because of the wrapping settings that's default. I need to make this eagle so it can be placed anywhere. So I have to adjust its layout options by right-clicking on the little layout icon and choose it to be either in front of or behind text. I'm going to choose in front of text, but because there's no text around it, it doesn't matter. Now I can choose that, move that eagle right up next to my Sunset State College rectangle. So I adjusted the height, changed the layout to behind or in front of text, and now I want to make a duplicate of it over on this side. Let's click, or let's do Control C and Control V and make a copy of that. And I can bring it over to this side and line it up right on the right side of that. But now he's facing the wrong direction. I want to flip him around by going to Flip or Rotate, and I want to flip him horizontal. Isn't that beautiful? My two little eagles facing the center bar. Now the eagle wing is touching it. I think I'm going to back it off a little bit using my arrow key. I'm going to click 3 times, pull it away a little bit, and I'll click 3 times to the left. Some fine adjustment of my eagle placement. Maybe I'll go a little further, get him out of the glow. Now we can experiment a little bit. Since that has a yellow glow around it, I'm going to control click on this picture, and let's see if I can add a little glow, a similar glow around that. Let's just see what it does. Let's try that simple mild yellow glow. Ooh, I kind of like that effect. A similar glow to that. And lots of good picture effects you can do. If I did, and a typical thing to do would be a drop shadow. No, I don't think a drop shadow makes that look good. I think the glow fits better with the current rectangle. So now I have a letterhead. I think that's looking pretty good. Even though we didn't get the same picture as in the book, we're doing similar graphical effects. Adjusting the picture. And let's see, do we want to adjust the colors a little bit? They do a little bit of color adjustment. Let's at least practice that with our picture. And I want to adjust the color on both of them. So notice I have them both selected. Click on one and control click on the other. I can now come up here to color adjustments, and let's see if it looks a little better with any other color adjustment. Let's see, they have this golden. That feels like he's faded out a little too much. I have this one. Ooh, that color matches pretty well. Let's see. Let's try that. Let's try the orange accent to go with that. Fits the color of it a little bit. Let's see what other effects I can apply to my picture. In the picture they had, they could apply artistic effects. Let's see if I only have one. Yeah, oh, I didn't realize if I have 2 of them selected, it disables artistic effects. But if I have one selected, I can choose other artistic effects on that eagle. And sadly, I can't see the preview of that. Let's choose this one and see what artistic effects might do for us. Nothing really jumps out. I can fuzzy it out. I'm not impressed by anything so far. Nothing dramatic there, but there's artistic effects available for you. And remember, if I ever choose one, I have to remember to apply it to the other one as well. I think, let's see, I like it. This one here does emphasize the snake the eagle has caught. I think I'll choose the glow edges. And I'm going to have to do the same glow edges there. I did not know this, that if I have two things selected, it does not let you apply artistic effects. You have to do it one at a time. Let's see what else is available in my color effects. I have those effects. Let's see what else I have. I have transparency. No, I don't think I need to adjust my transparency. I think we're good there. So there is my letterhead, two eagles now. And of course, this would not look good except on a color printer. If I have a black and white printer, I might do a complete redesign to get it to look just right. So I have the picture placed, duplicated, and flipped. And the in front of text lets me place it wherever I like. So now we have a nice letterhead at the top of our business letter. And I have not saved it yet, so I'm going to do a Control S to save this. And make sure to save it in a place that I can find later. I'm going to go put it in my personal little folder over here on my other drive, keeping real good track of where I'm keeping it. And I'm going to call it, oh, that's not that. I'm going to save this, go to my homework folder, and save it as JSmart WD3 business letter. My username, WD3 business letter, saving it in a known location. And just to make sure that it is saved, once I click save, I'm going to bring up my file browser just to make sure it's where I think it is. So I'm going to now go over to where I think I saved it. And there it is. It's always good to verify it is where you think it is. And remember, if you ever need a backup, like you're working on someone else's computer and you need to back it up, you can always go to your Schoology page and submit it as a copy. You can always submit a copy to the homework in Word Project 3. You can always submit it here as a backup, and then when you have it completed, you can submit it again. So just for fun, I'm showing you I'm making a backup of it over there on Schoology. And I only grade the most recent one, so you can always come back and then submit the final copy. If there's any issues with needing to make sure you have a backup of that file. Okay, so we have that saved now. Now we'll continue to add the rest of the content. Made a picture copy of the eagle, flipped it around. Now we're ready to enter some text that's going to be right beneath that letterhead. We'd like it centered, so I'm going to click the center icon, or Control E if I remember that, and start typing Office of Admissions, 1001 Canton Street, MC 3300, comma, Novato, California 94945. Now we would like to have a special symbol between here and our email and our phone. And I could hunt for symbols in other documents, or I could learn how to insert symbols myself. Let's figure out how we can insert special symbols. They can come in handy to just set off your document from anybody else's. I can go over here to Insert, And way over on the right side, I have the equations I can insert if I'm doing something math-like, or I can insert symbols. And there's a whole table of symbols underneath more symbols. Recent symbols will show up, but underneath more symbols, I can hunt through all types of symbols. I can do a little heart for today's Valentine's Day. I can find other symbols in this table of symbols, sliding down through them. A huge list of symbols. Here is a dot similar to what we would like. Let's see what code that has. That has code 183. And let's see what exact symbol they're looking for. They find a dot symbol, but they don't tell me what code it has. Let me check. I don't think it really matters that much, but they find a dot symbol. Oh, they don't show you what it is. There are multiple dot symbols. That's why I'm looking here. There is a large dot, and if you search down further, there is, or here we go, recently used symbols. There are other dots you could use for in graphics here. Lots of possible symbols you could use. And you can even choose what type of font you're looking for. Lots of other fonts. We're looking at the symbol font. We'll go ahead with that dot. If I double click on it and then close, it has inserted a dot symbol. And then I hit a space bar and I type my phone number, 415-555-0199. Now if I want to do that symbol again, either I could come over here and copy paste it, or let's practice getting it from the symbol table again. It remembers my recent symbols, so I can select my recent symbol. Oops, I want to go there. Select my recent symbol, and there we go. And then we put our, I guess it's our website, sunset.edu. So now if we back off here, we see we've got a professional looking heading to our business memo, and we might even want to save this as a template for anyone else at Sunset State College. Okay, one last thing we want to do for this paragraph is have a paragraph border which will form a horizontal line beneath this paragraph. Now let's see, how would I apply a paragraph border? Well, that would be on the Home tab, Paragraph section. Here underneath the border, I could choose different borders, and I believe if I hover over it, I will see the effect of that. And then I think what we want is a bottom border. Doesn't that look nice? A nice little bottom border to that paragraph. And that paragraph looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and go to the next paragraph, and we'll get a little surprise. I hit enter to start the next paragraph now for the content of my letter, and look at that, my border decided to follow me. This is a strange thing about paragraph borders. If you have multiple paragraphs that have bottom border set, the border only shows on the last paragraph of that group. So we don't want the paragraph border to follow us down. We want it to be left up on the previous paragraph. So what we want to do is clear the formatting in the paragraph that we're in so the border reverts to the previous paragraph. This is a kind of crazy behavior, but if I come over here and clear formatting of the paragraph I'm in, the border bops back to the previous paragraph. It remembers to have bottom border. So border behavior follows the last paragraph containing borders. I turned off borders by clearing formatting, and now I can continue my letter, which now will be the greeting, and I think a blank line or two. With a salutation. And before we do our salutation, we're going to be tabbing in 3 to 3.5 inches. And now we have to figure out, how do we do tabs? We're going to have the current date showing up at a tab at 3.5 inches. This is where you learn about the ruler. If you don't have the ruler turned on right now, go to View and check the ruler on, because we're going to use the ruler to put in tabs. So I'm making sure my ruler is on. And then if I ever want a tab, here's the things you have to learn about tabs. This tiny little upper left corner shows you what kind of tab is currently ready to insert. And that's be it standard left aligned tab. To put in a tab, you simply click on the ruler where you want a tab. So I want a tab right there. I can click and add a tab. Just click just in the gray part of the ruler. If I want to move that tab, I can click and drag it left and right. And this part, I was so confused the first time I used tabs. How do you get rid of a tab? Well, you click it and you drag it off the ruler to remove the tab. So click a tab to add it, left, drag it, click and left and right drag it, click off or drag it away from the ruler to remove it. So I'm going to leave a tab here at 3.5 inches. If I want a different kind of a tab, I can come click on here and it cycles through the different kind of tabs that are available to me. And then I can come back to the left align tab. Now this paragraph that I'm in now has a tab at 3.5 inches, and remember, subsequent paragraphs will remember my 3.5 inch tabs, because remember, tabs go with the paragraph they're in. I can change my tabs in future paragraphs, but right now I've started tab at 3.5 inches, and all paragraphs after this will remember that. So let's hit the tab character now, and now I am tabbed in to that location. If I ever move my tab, it will move that text that is tabbed in. And what I want to do here is insert today's date using the insert. Where's my little date? Insert date. One of these. Here it goes. Insert date. And the date is going to be the format, the third format, month, day, comma, 4-digit year. And we are not selecting update automatically. That will mean our date will be inserted the day I modified this. Notice if I ever move the tab, it will move that text with wherever that tab is. 3.5 inches is where our tab is now. And now let's see, are we done with that? We're going to go to the next line, have our date. And now we're going to hit enter, and now bring in our salutation to Mr. Caleb Thomas. We haven't done double space. I think we're at the default 1.5 space. 982 Bartlett Street. Live, yes. Yeah, you want to clear the formatting on the paragraph you're on, so the line goes back to the previous paragraph. So clear, go back to the home tab, and clear formatting. That's in there, right there. Oh, right above, right there. And oh, you do want the line to go beneath that. Okay, so go back, do a Control-Z, undo that. You have an extra paragraph in there, so let's click on the formatting. Let's see. We have an extra paragraph, so do a backspace or a delete. If you're there, you have to do the delete key. So delete so it's in front of it. There's your delete key. There we go. Now turn the bottom border on, and now go to the end and hit enter, and now clear format. And go back to this paragraph, and let's center it. There we go. And now you're come down to that next line, center it, and do an insert date, over to the right, date, time, and choose the third format. Yeah. And okay. Oh, now so I forgot this one. Go back to the home tab, and let's turn on the ruler by clicking View. Check the ruler. Okay. And now click at 3.5 inches on the ruler up there. Right there, click right there. Is there a tab showing? Move away from it now and see if the tab is there. Yeah, see if there's a tab there now? And then go in front, go to front of February, hit the tab key. There you go. And let's see here. Go ahead and do a backspace. Let's uncenter that, go to the home tab and uncenter it. And now hit tab. There we go. We want to tab in. Okay, and then go to the end and hit enter. All right. Then you can start putting in that salutation and then the address. Live Oak, comma, California, 954553. We're going to hit enter twice to give a little space between the salutation, or the addressing, and then the salutation now is going to be Dear Caleb. Two enters again to space away the welcome letter from the salutation. So if I turn on paragraph marks, you'll see I have an extra paragraph between those two lines. And now a little bit of text in our letter to Caleb. Congratulations on your admission to the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences at Sunset State for the fall semester of 2021. On behalf of our students, faculty, and staff, I welcome you to our academic, and let's see, let's fix that typo before I continue. There we go. To our academic community. Our decision to admit you to our college is an acknowledgement of your potential and our confidence in you as a valuable addition to our student body. Two enters, and then we're going to have another pair. So we're manually putting spaces between. And what do I have here? Do I actually have an extra space? Yeah. So extra line there. I'll turn on paragraph marks just so you can see. I've thrown in an extra paragraph there. Now it looks to me, well, we'll come back and adjust our line spacing and put in here. We would like, turn off marks, to inform you of important upcoming dates. Oh, I see I didn't get a typo, but I see I have the wrong word there. On your admission to the School of Liberal Arts. And look at that. Why don't I have a red line under that? That's strange. I guess I got to do some of my own proofreading. And now we're going to inform this person of important dates. I've done a little typing, so I'm going to do a Control-S save. And now I'm ready to insert a table of information. So far we've done graphics, plain paragraphs, centered text, tabs, maybe slightly new. Now we're going to insert a table. hit an enter, and I love tables in my Google Docs, and they are a handy way to organize data in any document. To do that, we come over here to Insert, Table, and I can choose a table from the graphically. I can choose a table 10 by 3 all the way up to 10 by 10. If I want anything larger than 10 by 10, I have to go to the Insert Table tab and give it specific number of rows and columns. But they make it handy. If I want a specific number of rows and columns, I can either type it or I can just count the squares, and we're initially going to put in a table, just 3-column table. Hit that, and now I have a 3-column table ready for me to enter information. If I turn on formatting marks, I'll see a little table marker there showing that I am in a cell of a table with my insertion point. So let's now start filling in our table, and we'll see how they behave as I fill them in. Going to the first cell, and this is going to be a heading row. So I'm going to type date, and then tab takes me to my next cell. I think arrow key will do it as well, but tab and then event. In this case, tabs behave differently than if I'm in a paragraph. And then notes. If I want more data, I simply hit tab when I'm at the very last cell of a table, and it automatically starts a new row after that. So date, event, notes, tab, starts a new row, and now I can start entering the data that's going to be displayed in a nice tabular format. July 12th to 16th and July 19 to 23. I tab, and the event is orientation registrations. Tab to go to the notes section. The notes are see brief schedule on next page, which we'll be using SmartArt to make a pretty schedule. Tab will start a new row, and then August 16 to 17 is going to be move-in days, not movie days, move-in days, assigned by housing services. Tab again to go to the next row. August 23rd is going to be fall term begins, with a note there, first day of classes. Excellent. Exclamation point. It's going to be so exciting. Now this is a decent looking table, but it's rather plain. We would like to apply a table style now to this table that I've entered. Make it look a little nicer. Because I have this lovely letterhead, I would like this table to look a little nicer too. Here's how I apply a style to my table. I think all I have to do is be inside my table, and I can go over here to design, table design, and I can choose from table design the kind of shading and colors that I would like in my table. And it just makes sense, and we do have are following the orange theme, that we would choose one of these orange themes in our table. What's great about this is it will, if you like tables that have alternate colors, it will automatically alternate colors for you as you create new rows. We're going to go more conservative. We're going to choose the very top one in the third column, just for a mild pastel orange border around that. There's lots of other styles available that you could choose from without you having to do alternate colors on your own. It does that all for you. So choosing that grid table, and look how nice that looks now. It automatically bolded my leftmost column for me as well. That's part of table formatting. Now suppose that in a column I want to make that column all italic. We would like to make this third column italic. Now to affect everything in this column, I can click and drag down through those column cells, and then I can do Control I, and that entire column becomes italicized. I can do the same thing with rows. Drag through a row, and I can apply a format to everything in that row. Now when they were doing this table, they realized they missed a row that needs to go after August 16th to 19th. On the week of 16th to the 20th, they're going to have Welcome Week. That is also Welcome Week. To insert a row, there's where your right click comes in handy. I can right click, insert, and I can decide to insert column or row above or below. We want to do an insert row below. And now I have room to insert a row August 16 to 20. Notice it is 16 to 20. Notice it is recognizing the same format that the previous row had. Welcome Week. And get scheduled during orientation. So whenever you insert a row, it remembers everything, all the formatting of the previous row. So pretty handy, helpful tables. Looks much nicer than a simple list, an unordered list. You could do this with tabs, but it gets a lot more complicated. Now suppose we wanted an extra column. We could do the same thing, insert a column before or after. But we're done with that table now, so I can now go down below it, and we're going to insert some more text. An extra paragraph, hit enter, and now we're going to end our letter, preparing for the next page, and then we'll be done here. Before orientation, you must do the following through our campus website. Save it there. We will continue this and do SmartArt on the part 2 of this, where you can really make your graphics stand out. Tables make things look much nicer. SmartArt graphics are going to even be more impressive. Get the attention of your reader. They'll remember your letter because of the wonderful graphics. And thing is, now since everyone uses graphics, it just looks plain and boring now if you don't use graphics. So you need to use it just to keep up with everyone else doing nice professional graphics. So save that, Control S, and upload a backup copy if you like, and we'll continue this next time. Have a wonderful day.